WXII 12 News at 6 starts right now.
Classrooms evacuated after a laptop starts smoking and smoldering during class. I'm Steve King, live in Louisville with what school district leaders are doing to prevent this from happening again.
Plus, it's food day at the fair. Find out how you can get in for free and help your neighbors feed their families through the holidays.
Plus, FEMA denies Dorian aid to 4 counties in North Carolina devastated by the storm. How Governor Roy Cooper is responding and what this means for the people still rebuilding. First at 6, breaking news out of Davidson County, where a Lexington teenager is now charged with assault on a law enforcement officer.
Yeah, this comes after a deputy says he was injured during a traffic stop earlier this morning. Deputies say they tried to pull over Nicholas Myers in the area of Bradley-Tysinger Road and Old U.S. Highway 52 today, but they say Myers sped off. Investigators said the deputy was thrown from the driver's side door of Myers' car and was dragged a short distance as well.
The deputy was taken to the hospital for injuries. Myers was later arrested. Myers is being held on $85,000 secured bond and will be in court tomorrow.
20,000 laptops are being pulled from use in Winston-Salem for Forsyth County schools after one of them today overheated and started smoking.
Yeah, it happened in a classroom at Louisville Elementary School this morning. Our Steve King joins us live from that school where it happened.
Steve, what do we know?
Well, no students were harmed when this all happened around 9:45 this morning. We do have images that the Louisville Fire Department tweeted out earlier today of the laptop after the issue was solved as far as the smoldering and smoking goes. But here's that laptop. This is a 2015 model. We're told that a student yelled "fire, fire" when this all happened, and the teacher immediately evacuated the classroom before a staff member pulled the fire alarm. But fire district leaders do say that there were no flames visible at any point. Now, everyone was able to get out of the building safely. A staff member used a fire extinguisher on the laptop to get it to stop smoldering before the fire department arrived and used a fire suppressant. Now 20,000 of these 2015 Google Chromebooks are being pulled from operation, and the school district is evaluating the newer model Chromebooks as well to make sure that they're safe to use. If they're deemed safe, those newer models will go back into operation, but the 2015 models are done here in Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools. Meanwhile, the principal of Louisville Elementary says that they had a fire drill just this week, and she is proud of how her students reacted this morning.
I think that right now our mindset is, take a breath, and that our children are safe, and that is always our top priority, is our children. And once we knew that every child in this building was safe and every teacher, then it is scary, and I think it's good practice. It makes everyone really, especially at our school, will know now this practice is worth it.
Now, these Chromebooks do not go home with the students. They always stay at school. Now, we have reached out to the manufacturer of the Google Chromebooks, but have not heard back at this time. Now, school district leaders say they believe that this issue originated in the battery of the laptop because this all happened when the laptop was not plugged in. However, they say that they are not 100% sure that it's because of a defective battery. It is important to note that every single parent in Louisville Elementary was notified about this incident after it occurred. Again, nobody was injured. Reporting live in Louisville, Steve King, WXII 12 News.
All right, thank you, Steve. We have reached out to other local school districts to find out what they're doing.
Yeah, some of them say they do use Chromebooks, but district leaders say they have not had any similar issues, and right now no other districts are planning to pull their laptops out of schools. Well, a truck crashed into the back of a school bus today in Winston-Salem. Busy day in the district that sent the bus driver to the hospital with some neck trouble.
All of the children are safe. Police say the bus was taking students to Mount Tabor High School, and the truck driver did not slow down.
Police say the bus had about $600 worth of damage, and the truck has thousands of dollars worth of damage. Primitivito Jimenez was cited with failure to reduce speed and driving without a license. A soldier from Fort Bragg is accused of raping an Alabama college student.
Military investigators now have 27-year-old Ryan Petro in custody. He was arrested while deployed to Afghanistan. Auburn, Alabama police charged him with 5 counts of first-degree rape dating back to last year.
Investigators say he sexually assaulted a 19-year-old Auburn student in May of 2018 at a hotel. Detectives say the victim was an acquaintance of his. Petro is, as we mentioned, behind bars tonight in Alabama.
Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina is working on some new protocols following an incident involving its now former CEO.
Yeah, Dr. Patrick Conway resigned months after being charged with DWI and child abuse, and the company was criticized for how it handled that situation, including by the state's insurance commissioner, Mike Causey, who called on Conway to step down.
In a statement released today, the board says, quote, "While we cannot undo the events that unfolded over recent weeks, we can act to restore your trust."
To that end, our Board of Trustees is developing new enhanced procedures to improve transparency in the reporting of significant events.
Yesterday, Conway was found guilty of DWI and child abuse stemming from a June 22nd crash in Archdale with his children inside his SUV. His attorneys plan to appeal.
Well, a big crowd is waiting for the Reverend Franklin Graham in Greensboro tonight.
It is one of several stops in his Decision America Tar Heel State Tour.
Bill O'Neill joins us live once again from the White Oak Amphitheater. Bill, good evening.
Good evening. We have a huge turnout here. Crowd tells us they're expecting to hear a little bit of politics, a little bit of religion here this evening, and Franklin Graham, no doubt, will not disappoint them.
A lot of chaos.
The chaos Franklin Graham spoke about Sunday in Raleigh could apply to both politics and religion. But the preacher says there's only one answer.
And I think the only person that can solve the problems of the country is not politicians, it's God.
Franklin Graham, a strong supporter of the president, will no doubt speak to a crowd who shares his political beliefs this evening.
I think there's a reasonable strategy in preaching to the converted, in sort of, making sure that, from his perspective, that people who support the president have a reason, that he's giving them more of a reason to support the president.
UNCG political scientist David Holian says Graham doesn't need to make a political speech in order to share his support of the president. He says the like-minded crowd will still get the message.
I don't think there'll be a lot of politics. I'm hoping there won't be, but I feel like a lot of Christian values are at stake right now. And politics is involved.
Progressive Christians like Frank Dew disagree with Franklin Graham's support of the president. He says the president has been on the wrong side of every issue, from health care to asking foreign governments to intervene in U.S. elections.
If you're going to ask people to make a decision to support this president, then I think you're on very thin ice.
Franklin Graham scheduled to speak less than an hour from now. And again, we are at the White Oak Amphitheater on the Coliseum grounds in Greensboro. I'm Bill O'Neill. This event, by the way, is free. Starts at 7 o'clock. Bill O'Neill, WXII 12 News.
Bill, thank you very much. In the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, Governor Roy Cooper says FEMA has denied individual assistance for people in 4 counties hit hardest by that storm. Carteret, Dare, Hyde, and New Hanover counties were assessed by local and federal officials who deemed FEMA did not need to send them extra assistance. The aid would have gone to help with temporary housing, building repairs, and fixing storm damage. FEMA has approved public assistance in these counties to help with the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian for things like local county cleanup, debris removal, and things like that.
The family of a man who got sick with Legionnaire's disease is hiring a trial attorney. Now, the family says that he was diagnosed after he attended the North Carolina Mountain State Fair in Fletcher. The local health department says more than 100 people have been diagnosed with the disease, and most of those people went into the Davis Center, that event center there, while at the fair to walk by hot tub displays. Here in the Triad, organizers of the Dixie Classic Fair are taking extra precautions to make sure what happened at that fair does not happen in the Triad here. Well, fairgoers are not allowed to bring in any handheld mist fans, and there are no misting stations on the fairgrounds this year. The use of decorative fountains has also been suspended, but there are clean water fountains in the annex and education buildings for fairgoers. The kids' water ride is also being cleaned every single night.
6 people at Elon University are battling mumps right now. That number has gone up this week. Doctors recommend you get a vaccine, wash your hands as often as you can, and disinfect surfaces and doorknobs. The Guilford County Health Department is running a vaccination clinic a little bit later this week to hopefully stop the spread of mumps at High Point University and in other locations. That clinic is open to students, faculty, and staff. They do need to present their insurance card and High Point passport card. There are 2 locations, the Student Center or at Cottrell Hall, the Kushner Ballroom. Vaccinations will be given from 10 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon tomorrow and Friday. And of course, while that's going on, flu season is also starting to ramp up. Doctors' offices all around the Piedmont Triad are making sure that you and your family have a vaccine available if you'd like one. You can get a free flu shot at the Forsyth County Health Department this month. The hours are listed on your screen right there. Health Department is on Highland Avenue in the city of Winston-Salem. You do not need an insurance card or identification.
Electric scooters are coming back to Winston-Salem. The city announced Zagster will put out 100 spin scooters on Friday. Another company, VO Ride, has also filed an application with the city and also hopes to put its scooters on the streets by the end of the month. Last November, the city council voted to ban bird scooters, but members approved an ordinance in March allowing for the return of these scooters. Under that ordinance, scooters can only be used from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. by those 16 and older. People must also use scooters on streets, not sidewalks, and obey traffic laws that apply to vehicles.
When you're in elementary school, does it get any better than a brand new playground on a beautiful day? I don't think it does. This was the scene at Spies Global Elementary School in Winston-Salem. The district partnered with American Airlines and Carter's Kids to build this playground. It has everything: climbing walls, ladders, slides, swings, you name it.
Kids have that, that dream of crossing the monkey bars. They have that dream of getting down the slide. They have that dream of accomplishing something, and this helps to create those dreams and accomplish those dreams.
Carter's Kids is a nonprofit that helps to build playgrounds all across the U.S.